All right, Ty. Well, final series of the regular season. I guess here we are. Big takeaways from this last weekend. We talked on Saturday about the penalties and taking them in untimely situations, and that kind of leading to things down the line. What has the team been working on these last couple of days of practice to kind of remedy that?
We spent a lot of time evaluating. The nature of sports is when you have a bunch of success, you probably don't evaluate as much as you should. And then when you don't have success, you probably over-evaluate. So we looked at a lot of things, and really at the end of the day, we've got a bunch of little things going on that hopefully we can fix. I would say, to your point, the one kind of glaring thing would be the discipline. And we've talked to our guys about it at length, and we'll continue to talk about it. We'll continue to show them. So we've talked about the discipline, and then what we've worked on the last 2 days in practice has just been some of the little things that we feel like we can improve on. Because again, whatever each player's individual strengths and weaknesses are, over the next 2, 3, 4 weeks, it's going to be hard for them to fix those, right? If a kid needs to get faster, get stronger, or a freshman's only going to be a freshman, right? We can't all of a sudden turn him into a senior in the next couple of weeks. So working on just some finer points of our game, and it starts with our effort. And when we play really hard and we compete and we work, we give ourselves a chance every night.
Mm-hmm. One thing that you and a couple other players have talked about is putting together solid 3 periods of hockey together. And over the weekend, it seemed like there were increments of that. You got a good period, and then maybe one, 15, 20 minutes not so good, and then it came back on. How do you form that kind of consistency, maybe this late in the season?
Yeah, that's a $1 million question. We're trying to figure that out. We believe that a lot of that has to do with experience. A lot of that has to do with mentally being ready to go and locked in, and both feet in and being all in to that moment. Knowing that it's difficult because sports are different. Like you have a plan going into every weekend, and you work on certain things over the course of the week with the hope that this is what's going to happen on the weekend, and then things change even in the middle of a game. And I know we talked about it on Saturday. So we got a great start. We get a big time goal from Adam Pitters, and we're rolling. And the goal that Northern scored to tie it, you can't account for Braden Krieger breaking a stick. You can't replicate that in practice, but it happens. So now how do you react? And obviously the goal they scored, it wasn't. Christian Stover would sit right here and tell you that I shouldn't let that in. So he wants it back, but leading up to that, we break a stick. So you just got to try to stay confident and believe that if you continue to do things right and do things that you value, the law of averages will hopefully swing back to your side at some point. But luck does play a part in it.
Speaking of Christian, we're talking a true freshman. Ever since Zach went down with his injury, Christian's been kind of thrown in the fire, start after start after start after start. How do you feel he's handled that role now as the essential full-time goaltender for you guys as a freshman?
All in all, he's done a good job. No question. He's competitive like all of our players. They all want to be the guy, whether it's the starting goalie or running the first power play as a D or the top unit as a centerman, whatever that is. They all want that responsibility. And I think if you ask Christian, there's no chance he would have told you he started how many ever games in a row right now, and he's the guy all the way through. And it's hard to prepare for that. We've always been a team that's had a 1A and a 1B, and maybe with 4 games left or 6 games left, someone takes it and runs with it because they've gotten hot, but not since before Christmas where you just keep rolling. So that's a lot, and we have to remind ourselves of that. Because he is a freshman and he's done a really good job, and we believe he's going to be a really good goalie and have a really good career. But you have to remind yourself that this certainly wasn't the plan going in to have Zach, obviously get hurt and then Christian be the guy. That being said, it's the situation we're in, so he's just got to continue to push and work, and we've got to continue to support him and work on the things we can work on.
So instead of having a 1A and 1B, now you just have a 1, right? How has that affected you and the coaching staff and game planning around maybe the line changes and maybe even the line shifts you've put together? Because I've seen some interesting, never before seen for me at least, lines that you guys have put out there the last couple of weeks.
The combinations and some of the changes haven't really been had anything to do with Christian. What we've tried to do with Christian is monitor how he practices and the amount of ice time he gets, and try not to put him in situations where he's too tired going into the weekend, knowing that he's going to play back-to-back games. So that's we've tried to be cognizant of managing his. I think, what do they say in the NBA, load management? Like, we try to do that with him in hockey, just so he can be fresh going into the weekend. As far as the line combinations go, some of that's been due to not being able to score at the level we want to score. Some of it's been due to guys being hurt, getting injured in mid-game, guys getting not feeling well. You look at this weekend, so we play real well last Saturday at Tech. So the plan is to, we would come back with that group because we had success. They felt comfortable. We played really good against a difficult opponent. So that would be the plan going in. And then Friday, Ethan Scardina gets hurt, right? And then Austin Swankler doesn't feel good and has some issues going on, and it's difficult. So you have to make changes. We're no different than anybody else. Those things happen. So you flip things around a little bit, and you do the best you can to mix and match. And then Saturday, it's senior night, and then so you're not going to be with Ethan, and Austin spends most of Friday night at the ER trying to figure out what's going on with him, and he doesn't think he can go Saturday. And then you have a group of seniors, and Trevor St. John being one of them. So Trevor earned the opportunity to be in the game. Senior night's a big deal, and he's been a really good representative of our program. He's going to graduate, so there was no question in our mind that Trevor was going to be a part of Saturday. And he played well. He did a good job when he got in there and worked, and so that was unique to do that. So a lot of things happen over the course of the season, and in a perfect world, you have X amount of forwards and nobody gets hurt and everybody plays well and you just keep rolling out the same guys, but we all know that that's not possible.
Can we expect to see Ethan and Austin back this week?
Austin practiced today and didn't have a red jersey on or wasn't limited at all, so I guess we'll see tomorrow where he's at if today's practice impacted him at all negatively, and so the expectation right now would be that we see him. As far as Ethan goes, he had he's in the concussion protocol, and those are scary things, and you can't be too cautious with that. We want to make sure that Ethan's taking care of himself, and we're supporting Ethan taking care of himself, because those things, as you know, have long-term effects, and it's not. I've told a couple other people, it's not the days of knock the cobwebs out and get back in there. It's just not that easy anymore, or not that stupid anymore, I should say. You do have to be very, very cautious with those head injuries.
You see Lake Superior State already. What's the big challenge facing them the second time?
The big challenge is going on the road, playing a team that both these teams are in the exact same spot, right? The points are tied. I mean, it's pretty. It couldn't be more. The formula for being at home for them and for us couldn't be more simple, right? Win 2 games, you're at home. So you got 2 teams that have the same identical goal in mind. The challenge is that they're a really good team, and they had a really good year last year, and they've been playing pretty well of late. I know they probably didn't like both results last weekend, but they've been playing well. So the challenge for us is to forget about last weekend and get on the bus on Thursday and head up to Sault Ste. Marie and be ready to go. And knowing that Lake Superior is going to be ready to go. They want to be there, just like our guys want desperately to have another crack at playing at Slater Family Arena. Lake Superior wants the same opportunity. So the challenge is to do that. And then I think Lake's probably a lot like us. I said to another person, if you look at Bemidji and Lake Superior and Northern Michigan and ourselves, those are 4 teams that on any given weekend you could say Lake Superior is the best of those 4 teams, or Bemidji's the best of those 4 teams, or Bowling Green or Northern. We've all been consistent at being inconsistent, so hopefully we get the best version of ourselves this weekend, and I know our guys really, really would love to have another series at Slater Family Arena.
It's got to fire them up to know that they could kind of control their own destiny in this situation.
Yeah, and we're fortunate because we were in this same spot last weekend. We controlled our own destiny going into the series versus Northern Michigan, and we didn't have a great effort on Friday. But to these guys' credit, Saturday our effort was great. Like you look at the statistical categories in the game, and you look at some of the measurables and analytics, we played well enough to win. The result wasn't what we wanted, but we played well. So now we're right back where we were. It seems like every Tuesday we've been talking about this being the biggest series of the year, and it hasn't been cliche. It's real. This is, and biggest meaning, if playing at home is important, then it is the biggest series of the year.